Hello everybody, it is Ebontis here, and today is June 18th. We are here on Nessus in Watcher's Grave, up in the little treehouse. If you guys don't know where I'm at, basically you kind of spawn over there, and you gotta drive over here to this big giant tree that you can't miss, and Xur will be up here waiting for you. So, let's see what he's got. As always, your exotic engram. If you are missing anything in your collection or just looking to get a randomly rolled piece of armor, maybe you get a good stat roll, throw the dice here. It is worth 97 shards though, so if you're a newer player and you don't have a ton of shards, you will get a decent amount of them accumulated, but if you are missing stuff over here, these are 23 and 29, so you can buy this entire collection for what it takes to buy this one. So if you're missing stuff in your collection, buy them all here first time through, and then later on come back and go for the random rolls later on. So let's take a look at what he's got. Here we go. So for the weapon, we've got the Jade Rabbit. This is going to have the perk Fate of All Fools. Chain body shots to gain bonus damage on your next precision shot and return ammo to the magazine. Unfortunately, I can tell you this gun doesn't really shine in a lot of places. It's kind of cool in one mode, which is momentum control. It's a PvP mode that comes back every so often because it hits hard enough. It basically one taps, or at least it used to. It's still probably going to two tap, but it's just a really powerful scout rifle. Unfortunately, the perk of chaining body shots with a scout rifle really kind of defeats the purpose, unfortunately, because body shots don't get nearly the damage you need. And then, you know, your next crit is not going to make up. It's not doing like, oh, this crit did like 100x damage because I chained a whole bunch of body shots. It doesn't really work in that way. So this is a gun you're just going to buy, throw it in the collection, maybe pull it out for a random PvP mode every so often. But overall, sadly, I wish I could tell you this gun was better. It just doesn't really seem to be, in my opinion. If you differ, please drop that below in the comments. I'm always curious if you guys have good uses for stuff like this. As for armor, we will start with the Hunters first. We got the Mechaneer's Tricksleves. This is a pair of gauntlets, and the perk here is Spring Loaded Mounting. Increases sidearm ready and reload speed. While you're critically wounded, swapping to a sidearm increases its damage. So if you do enjoy sidearms, most likely in PvP, I would imagine, this is kind of going to be the thing for you. I say that until we go look at the stats. On the stats, we are kind of hurt. 61 isn't overall a terrible roll, but it's not the best. But unfortunately, you have a recovery of 2. If this is going to be likely a PvP exotic, 2 recovery is really kind of shooting yourself in the foot. Mobility is not a bad thing for a hunter, but resilience, once you kind of pass the minimum threshold, doesn't really do much for you. Titans, it would be better, but for a hunter, you'd still have to see mobility and recovery, especially for PvP. And the intellect's down at 10. So if you don't own these, it'd be a good way to try them out and see if you like them. If you do want to go grind for more, if you really like sidearms, you can see if the functionality is there. And you can use some mods to help with stats. But overall, if you like sidearms and you're a hunter, this is kind of your jam. But the stat roll could be a lot better, unfortunately. This, you can try out the functionality, but you probably are going to want a better roll later on. As for the Titans, we've got the Synthoceps, always a cool looking one. We've got Biotic Enhancements, increases melee lunge range, so you're actually going to punch a little farther. I think it's out from 5 meters to 6 or something like that. Basically, it pushes it out to where I think the Warlock is. Improved melee and super damage when you're surrounded. Surrounded usually qualifies as having like 2 or 3 enemies around you. You're going to improve your melee and your super damage, which is actually big if you're in a group of enemies, maybe trying to take out a boss or something big. You're going to do more damage if you're flying in with like Thunder Crash, for example. Obviously, Curious of the Fallen Star would be better, but there are ways where you can definitely boost your damage if you're clearing out ads, trying to take out some big ones. Not a bad way to boost that. Unfortunately, again, we have a 59 stat roll. If Xur's going to sell an exotic, it should at least be 60. I'm just going to say that now. 60 at a minimum, please. And then the fact that what do you have? High mobility, not the best. You do have high strength, as this is based around melees. That's not a completely wasted stat location. But as everything else in the middle, which is usually the 4 that I care about the most, is all single digits, sadly, this one is not great. Not much else I can say about that one. If you don't have them, they have some benefits to them. Stat roll is meh on this one, kind of not great. But if you don't have them, add them to your collection, toy around with them, see if you like them. Again, see if you want to grind for a better roll in Lost Sectors or other places. For the Warlocks, you got the Fancy Pants. You got the Transversive Steps. These are leg armor, Strange Protractor. Sprint speed is increased. That alone is a nice thing for a lot of people to use it for, especially in PvP, just faster movement. There's not a lot of things that do that. This is the one for the Warlocks that increases your sprint speed. Every class has one. This is it. So if you don't have it, buy it for that alone. After a short time sprinting, your currently equipped weapon is automatically reloaded. you know, run up, shoot somebody with a shotgun, get a kill, go running again. Guess what? Shotgun's reloaded. You didn't have to take the time to stop to do that. So this is a really good one for PvP, especially for Warlocks. I see this as a popular exotic, just a general use all the time. And you got a 64 stat roll. Now, 14 resilience, a little less beneficial. You do need some minimum to hit, so I guess you can have that. But you got 17 resilient or recovery, 16 discipline. Warlocks are always still going to be using their grenades. We all do. Intellect is 6, which is not the best, unfortunately. And then strength is 8. So the middle stats aren't terrible. The fact that you do have high recovery for a Warlock is kind of the important piece. Intellect, I wish was higher. If you could move resilience to intellect, this would be like fantastic. But it's still a total of 64. You got a good amount of recovery for a Warlock. And if you don't have this, you are probably going to want to toy around with an exotic that makes you run faster because there's only one per class that does that. So again, pick this up if you don't have it. Stat roll's not terrible. Could be a little better, but definitely not too shabby. And that wraps up Xur for today. So June 18th, again, Xur is here in Nessus. Also, today we did record the Last Word episode 154. We had Jixer Clyde on this morning, and it was an awesome chat. I have no idea why he's warping over here, but he's just being weird. But yeah, that was an awesome episode of The Last Word. Video will be going up probably tomorrow, sometime over the weekend. Audio will be going up this afternoon, so if you're looking to check out the podcast, check it out there. And for me, if you guys are new to the channel, you enjoyed the video, want to see other stuff from me, besides Xur just glitching out a little bit more, you guys can subscribe to the channel, hit that alert bell. You'll see my guides for lost sectors and other things. A lot of Destiny content here on the YouTube channel that will be coming to you. As I said, if you enjoyed this one, drop a like below. If you have thoughts about any of these exotics, ways you use them, loadouts you like putting them into, comment below. Love to see your guys' thoughts on these things. Other than that, you guys can find me over on Twitter, and you can also find me over on Twitch. I stream typically Destiny on Tuesdays. That's usually the big day for that one, and a variety of other things on my streams as well. So thank you guys very much. I'll see you soon. Have a good one.